Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for coming late. I think I'm 4 minutes late. I was on a call before now, so that's why I could not join. I could not join immediately. I thought the call is going to end by 8 p.m. So unfortunately, we use extra time. So that's why. So sorry for joining late. So and I could say a kudo to those that have started tagging me on social media, seeing what they've started building. It was kind of impressive, and I believe before we finish the whole course, our visuals should have getting better than that and all. So I'm so impressed by that. Kudos to you guys. Keep up the work. So tonight we'll still continue our Power BI, and I could see from the chat people were asking if the Power BI is asking them to somebody said abi the tutor don go watch Real Madrid. I was actually on a call, so and I thought it's going to end so fast. So that's what caused that. So people were asking that the Power BI is asking for uh office or business abi organization email, so you don't necessarily need organization email. Just cancel it and just continue your work. It will allow you to do what you want to do without adding organization email, so don't stress yourself about that. And those that have done the assignment, I will still say again kudos to you people. And those that have not, please, let's try our best to do it. Let's share it. Is just a way of building our online presence, showing the skill that we are learning. And I think that's a very good idea because people will start noticing what we are doing, especially maybe people that are completely new to data analysis. So once we start sharing, people will start noticing that, oh, you are learning data analysis, these are things you are doing. It's very okay, because I believe that the goal of everybody is to get a job, and those are things that contribute to you getting a job. So when people start seeing what you are doing, it's just like form of portfolio, like your project. So let's keep it up. So I'm going to continue with Power BI. Let me just share my screen. So I'm going to share my screen now. So let me just call Power BI. So it's still try to load. So once it's able to load now, I'm going to continue. So mm, so I just want to confirm something. Okay. So once it shows something like this, we have a recommended part. We also have report part. So I'm going to click on this report part here. So once I click on this, in our last class, I've tried to explain all the functionality in this Power BI. So I've tried to explain some of them. So what I'm just going to do today is start a data set with us and try to do some basic visualization and all. So I'm going to get the data set because I want to import the data on my. So abi let me show us. So I'll click on this, and I think I've explained this in the last class. So the data set is on my desktop. I'm going to look for it here. So I'm using Power BI. So I'm just going to click on OK. So once I click on OK, it's going to it's already start loading. So it's loading already. It's loading already. Okay, it has already loaded. So I'll just click on this. So some data sets may have a good name, but this one just has sheet one. And it's just because the sheet has not been renamed on the Microsoft Excel. That's why it's showing this. So I'll just click on sheet one. And don't forget, in your Power BI, you can import SQL data. You can import like just like a database, depending on the kind of source of data that you want to work with. But in this scenario, we are working with Excel data. And just like to be a good student, after this, you can also try to take in like to look for different data set of your own choice and try to practice them to be sure that what you are actually learning, you are getting it. So after clicking on this, it shows the preview of this data set. And once it shows the preview, this is the preview. So this shows the preview of the data set. So this is the preview of the data set, and you can see down in the down part we have the load, we have the transform, and we have the cancel. So if like as a data set, once you get a data set, most of the time the data set are not always clean. They are not always clean. And this data set, you like anytime you get a data set, just believe that the data set is not clean. So you need to find ways of trying to clean the data set. And the features that we're going to use is transform data instead of load data. So I'll just click on transform data. Once I click on transform data, it's going to so once it shows, and any one of us that we are familiar with Power Query, this is what just like Power Query look like in Microsoft Excel. So once it shows something like this, because I click on transform, it's going to show something like this. So I'll just try to inspect my data, like just to see what is here that need to be changed or what I feel is wrong. And also another thing that is very important is understanding your data set is very important, because if you don't understand your data set, there will not be ways to use that data set to solve a problem. Because this is like as a data analyst, our main job is solving a problem with data. So here we have retailers, I have retail ID, I have date, I have month, I have region, I have what else, I have month, I have region, I have state, I have beverage from brand, I have price per unit, I have unit sold. So these are just like basic data I have, and I'm going to see this unit sold as 123, and that is like the data type for this, in which is correct. For price per unit is 1.2, which is like decimal point. For beverage brand is ABC, in which is correct because these are alphabetical. So in states we also have to be ABC, then region, month, and this month here, if we want to perform anything on this month, it's just going to calculate it as a normal number. So we can just use one thing we can do here is by changing all these 1, 2, 3 to like January, February to like December. So instead of just using 1, 2, 3, because if we use 1, 2, 3, anything we want to perform on this column is just going to calculate it. It's going to see it as number instead of seeing it as January to December. So it's best for us to change it to January to December, or we can just remove it and just bring month out of this date, because this date also has a month, has a date, and has a year. You can just bring it out like in form of months, in form of years. We can just put everything into a certain column if we want to make analysis in terms of year, in terms of day, or in terms of month. And this retail id is not that deep, or is not that contributing to what we are doing, because most of the time too you consider the part of the data that contribute to what you are doing, so that you can know, okay, this one is not relevant. So, and we also have retailers, that is the names of those retailers that purchases those particular item. So here what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove this. I'm going to remove this month. I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to remove it. So after removing it, I'm just going to come to this, and I'm going to duplicate. After removing the month, I'm going to duplicate this date. So I'm just going to look for duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate the column. So you can see here that this is the duplicate uh, has data copy. So I'm just going to rename this data copy by right clicking on it. I'll just click on rename, then I'm going to click on I'm just going to type month. So this is month here, and after that I'm going to uh what I'm still going to do is I want to okay what I want to do here is I want to change this from I want to remove month from this particular data set, which is month. Like I've duplicated the date and I call this month, and I want to remove like month from it, so that those months will represent January to December. So that's what I want to do now. I'm just going to do this. So clicking on this, I'm going to click on date. Okay, I've already changed it to date. Mm, 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 mm. So after highlighting this, I'll just click on this place, which is date time. So I'll click on is not here. Okay, I've seen what has to click on. So after I've tried to duplicate the date, right? And this is the copy version of the date, and I've renamed it to be month. So I'll just going to right click on it, and I'm going to transform this data by I'm looking for transform. Okay, now this is transform. After right clicking on it, so I'll click on transform, and on this transform I have year, quarter. If I want to transform it by quarter, I'm going to transform it by quarter. If I want to transform it by month, I'm going to transform it by month. If I want to transform it by week, I'm going to but now I want to transform it by month, And I don't just want to transform it by month, I want to transform it by the name of the month, which is from January to December. So I'll just click on OK. So once I click on OK now, you can see that my data now has been transformed to day and month, and here I already have from April to December. So I think what I really want to achieve, I've achieved it here. So I've been able to change that to January, February to December, and here I still have my dates here to be here. So another thing is I'm going to add a custom column. So I'm going to look for add column here. So I'm going to click on add column, and once I click on add column, I'm going to click on custom column. That is, I want to customize the column. So the first thing is clicking on add column. Then after adding, clicking on add column, you will see custom column. So once I click on custom column, I'm waiting for it to load. So it's going to show something like this. So it's going to show something like this. So somebody is asking me to zoom my screen. Okay, let me cancel this and let me see if it's going to work. Okay. I don't think it can be bigger than this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So after I've done that, like, I think it can be bigger than this. So I've tried to transform this to month and like month name. And the other things that I'm going to do here is to click on add, like I want to add a column. I want to add a column. So I'm just going to look for adding column. So where I'm going to see that. So this is it at this top side. So I'm going to click on add column, and after clicking on add column, you will see custom column. So once I click on custom column, I'm going to give it revenue. I'm just going to give revenue. This is revenue. Then what is going to give me revenue? What is going to give me revenue is the multiplication of price per unit and unit sold. So once I click on price per unit here, I'm just going to click on insert. So this is price per unit, and I'm going to multiply it by unit sold. So I'm just going to click on unit sold. So I'm multiplying price by unit with unit sold to give me revenue. So if I click on OK now, it's going to create another column here for that, which is this. So I'm just going to click on this here to change it to number, or maybe like decimal point. So let me leave it whole number first. So now in my data set, the two data cleaning that I did is by turning the month from number to a text, which is from January to February, from January to December. And also I create another column from multiplications of price per unit and unit sold. So that's all about that. And looking into this closely, I don't think that there is any other things that need to be done. But if there's other things, we are still going to see it, because we can This is something that we can always come back to try to adjust or do anything that we feel that we need to be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this to cancel. But when once I click on cancel, it's going to ask me, Power Query Editor, do I want to apply the changes that I already made on that particular stuff? So it's going to ask me that, do I want to apply the changes? I'll just click on yes, because I want to apply the changes to the data set, so that when I'm seeing the data set here, the changes would have taken effect. So it's now loading. So it's loading already. So it's loading. Somebody said it's not seeing anything. Maybe it's your network actually, because even here I'm using phone to join via YouTube, and I'm using laptop to cheat, so that I'll be able to see if what I'm trying to show is you are seeing it. So I'm using both laptop and phone. Maybe it's your network. So I could see it on my phone while cheating it on laptop. So this is it here. It has already shown, but what you are going to do is you just click on this your right hand side. Once you click on your right hand side, it's going to show like the basic things, like in terms of the columns of your data set. So it's going to show the columns of your data set here. We have beverage, we have so we have beverage brand, we have date, we have month, we have price per unit, we have region, we have, these are just like basic things that we that is inside our data. So if I click on month, if I click on month here and I click on a chart to show my month. So I've clicked on a chart and I've showed the month. I've clicked on the month. So I'm waiting for the month to show. Oh, this is not showing. So I need to check why it's not showing. Or do we have 2 months? Okay, we only have 1 month. So let me go back to my report view. Mm, okay. I think I can check for month and revenue. Maybe that's why it's not showing. Okay, okay. So I think that's like a mistake from my end. So now if I'm checking for my revenue and month, I can see here that clearly that December has the highest, or is it December? Yeah. December has the highest revenue. So I'm working on checking on the revenue per month. And I can also check the revenue per retailer, maybe to check, okay, let me check the revenue per retailer. So if I'm checking the revenue per retailer, I can see that Soda Pop is the retailer that has the highest revenue. So I can do that. I can even do the chart differently. So let me do for this, and let me just check for month and revenue. So this is it here. So this is like month per revenue. This is month per revenue and this is revenue per retailer. So we can see here that December has the highest, while for this is the retailer that has the highest revenue. So we can also try to do so many things here. We can check on the region. We can try to use map to check for region, for states, and we can also check for beverage brand. So there are a lot of things that can be done on these visuals just to make sure we build a dashboard to like a dashboard that tell a good story about our data. So I'm going to clean this so that we can I'm just going to remove it. So I'm going to use card to just give like a numbers of my revenue, that is in terms of total. So I'll pick card here. So I'll just click on card. Then I'm going to click on revenue. Then I'm also going to click card again. So I'm going to click card in 3 times. I'm going to do for revenue, for units sold, and also for price per unit. So this is price per unit, units sold, and revenue. So we just want to compare them and also try to build some other things in our visuals. So I'm going to arrange that here at this my left hand side. I will I will use so I'm just try to adjust it so that one won't look more bigger than the other. So here, this is the total revenue, this is the total units sold, and this is the sum of the price per unit. So I'm just going to change the color. So if I want to change the color, I'm going to click on it and just come to this format visual. Then I'm going to let me just make the color this. Then because it's good to make the color to be the same. So it's good to make the color to be the same so that you won't just be doing like, because that's ways to know a professional So the color must be the same, and if the color is not the same, it must be a color that is in alignment with each other. So I'm going to change the color here. So I've changed the color and make the color to be the same. So for the three of them, I've made the color to be the same. But what is just remain here is that uh the two of them are in whole number, while one is in decimal point. So I have to change this also to be in decimal point, or change this one in decimal point back to a whole number. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to click on this format visuals, then click on call out value. I'm going to check on the decimal point. So if I use for this value decimal point, if I use 0, e has changed to 2k, that is it approximate it to be 2k. So I can just make it one decimal point. So it's going to be 1.8, and I'm going to change this as well. I'm going to also use that as one decimal point, and I'm going to do this as well too. Or let me just leave it whole number. I think it's quite good with whole number. So I'll just leave it as whole number. Then I'm going to leave this also as whole number. So this now is now 2k, this is 16m, and this is 8m. So the total revenue is 8m. So I think I will just try to do it according to, so I'm just going to do it according to how big they are. So now we have 16m for sum of units sold, we have sum of revenue, we also have sum of price per unit. So after that, hmm, okay, okay, I think maybe it will still be better this way. I'll make it bigger. So I think I've make it bigger. So what I did here is by using card and card to click on. So after picking card here, so I click on unit sold for this. I use sum of revenue for this, that is using revenue, then also using price per unit. So after that, what are other things that we can do here to include in our chart? I will also try to include months and month and revenue. So and what I'll be using a chart here that shows that. So the what I did here is by clicking on this chart, Then once I click on the chart, I click on the month, and I also click on revenue. So here we have revenue and the month. So we can easily track our revenue per month and know where we have the highest revenue and where we have the lowest revenue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this color as well, and I'm going to click on this format visual. So once I click on format visuals, so let me click on format visuals, and okay, I think it should be under general. Yes. So these are basic things that we can do. The visual parts. mm, mm, mm. What I'm trying to do is I want to change the color for that particular visuals. It should be under this. Okay. Okay, is it this? No. Okay, now I could see it. So where to change the color, because I've already used this particular color, that's why I'm trying to change this color to be the same with this. And what you're going to do is once you click on this, you just going to click on visual, like format visuals here. So once you click on format your visuals, you will see visuals and general. So once you click on visuals, you just need to come to this column. So once you click on column, you will see color here, down here, and you can easily change your color to any colors of your choice. So once you do that, you can also try to track another thing. So I will try to use another. Okay, so I'm going to use another chart. Let me use chart. Okay, I'm going to use another chart. Let me use donut chart for something, for another thing. So the first one is revenue per month. Like we're trying to track the revenue per month to know the month that they have highest revenue or the month that they have lowest revenue. So I'm going to use donut chart. Like, okay, let me remove it and do it again. So I'm just going to click on donut chart, or I can also use a bar chart, a pie chart, depending on what I want to do. So I can click on donut chart here. It's going to appear. So I can just drag it here. It's because my screen, I've tried to make it bigger. That's why it's showing this way. So I'm just going to find what I can just work with retailer and also try to work on the revenue. I may want to see the total revenue that each each retailer generate for the company, so that we can see the one that have the highest, while you can see the one that have the lowest. And here you can see that soda pop generate 4 million, in which is able to carry like 53.52% of the whole revenue, while followed by 25.8. 25.8 is so you can change the color. I said color, so you can check the color of this, which is 2 million. The color for this is fixie sip. So this has like 2 million, which is 25% of the entire revenue. So this is like ways of tracking the retailers that help them to generate a revenue that is higher. So it may be like they want to retain the retailer, like they want to keep getting product from the retailer because it's the one that highest they were able to get highest revenue from him or her. So the company may want to know. And what else can we see? So this we also have region, and we also have states. We have, okay, we've tried to work with revenue, we've tried to work with month, we've tried to work with price per unit, and we've almost work with almost all of them. And this is like our dashboard there, but we can still add some things to this dashboard. We can still add some things to this dashboard. So this is the dashboard there, and we can also add some certain insights to this particular dashboard. So I can decided to add a table, and just bring the table here. So I can just decide to add the table here, and try to just put in, let me just try to add, okay, month, and let me try to add revenue. Let me add units sold, and let me add the third to be price per unit. Okay. So this is just like a chart of showing, okay, revenue per month, and we are trying to put them in like a sum form, so that they can easily be checked with a month. And at times you may really want to use this to track the one that have the highest, and why you may still want to track the one that have the lowest, depending on what you are trying to do. But I think this has a lot of information because of the space. Okay, or should I just adjust this? Let me try to adjust it. So I'm trying to, so we can see that this is just like a small table. Try to give a summary of what is actually going on in our data set, and we can also try to just include a slicer. Let me see if I could see a slicer from here. Okay, somebody is asking, how can card visual be used for more than one column data? Yes, card can only be used for a single column, because you are just like is it can't, you can't, how can I explain that? You can't have a lot of information in card. Card is just like a ways of showing an insight in a single number. You can see here, I was able to sum the whole revenue, and it's giving me in just like in one format, not like others. So you can use that. Like, card cannot, you can't pass multiple items into card. You can't pass multiple items into card. So you can only use card for one single thing. So this is just like a table, and somebody is asking me, how did you add the multiplication sign calculating revenue? The way I got that is by clicking on, this is okay, let me go back to my okay, this is table view. This is the table view, that is like the table. So once the time I load my data into my Power Query, like instead of just loading it direct to the report side, what I did was to transform it. And when you transform it, you are going to see, like in the upper part, I think there is something called add custom column. So you are going to click on add column first at the top side. I think there's no way I can go back to that. It's only if I still want to open my Power Query again. So you look upside, I think it's around there. So you just click on add column. Then once you click on add column, you see custom column. When you click on custom column, you just need to rename the custom. Then once you rename the custom to like revenue or what you want it to be, then you are just going to insert. You will see at the side here, you are going to insert those the names of the columns will be there. So if you are trying it, you're going to see the names of the column. So you're going to see the names of the column. And once it's at the table, can the month be sorted accordingly? So the month can actually be sorted. It can be sorted. Let me see. So we can try to sort our months, but the problem with this month is I think it's going to follow either alphabetical order, or if it's being sorted with, It's either you sort it descending order, or I think there's a way to do it from January to December, but I could not remember that now. Maybe I will check it before next class, and I'm going to do that. So if you sort it by month, I think it will still follow alphabetical order. So like April, August, instead of starting from January. But I'm going to check out that. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check it out. So this is just like some of the basic information on our dashboard. We can also add a map. That is, the reason why we can add a map is by including like our state and region. We can easily calculate the revenue per region, or the revenue per state. So if we are trying to get the revenue per state or the revenue per region, the only best way to show it is by using a map, because when you use a map, it's going to show it clearly, like it's going to show those locations. So you can add anytime you have state, region in your data set. That's also you can use you can use a map to show like those location according to the state and region. So another thing we can do here is to just like give our dashboard name. So we can give our dashboard name. So I have to bring all this down or make it smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on insert, then I'm going to insert a shape. Then I'm just going to look for a shape here, then probably give that shape to this top side. So this is how I can give my dashboard an header, like that is the names of the dashboard I'm trying to build. So I'm just going to change the color as well. I think it's under style. So if I click on under style here, I can just change it to this color. Then I need text. I need to open the text so that I'll be able to type in something. I can just call it retail. So I can call it retailer dashboard. And here I can change the font, or let me just leave the font, but I can change the I can change how big it's going to be. So I think this is bigger enough to give our dashboard a name. So we can call this a retail dashboard, and we can just start to just put in different information on this dashboard. What the beauty of the dashboard is just to show a certain information of your whole entire data set. It's just, data dashboard is not new to us because we did it in Microsoft Excel, but it's just that the way we do it in Microsoft Excel may be kind of different to this. So what we are just trying to do is picking those column and just try to put them in a chart, like in a just like to put them in a single dashboard that can show all the information of the data set. So here we can also add a slicer to it that we can use to monitor the sales and everything. So that can it our slicer can be in form of month. So month can be a determinant of all this. So anytime we click on maybe January, or it may even be a year, so it may be yearly, so it's going to affect the revenue, the unit sold and the price per unit. It can also affect the revenue by retailer. So slicer will be like the one that once you click on it, it's going to keep changing. So this is just like a sample of a dashboard that you can build using your data set. So you can play around it. I think I already sent the data to us, and I believe by now everybody would have download and install Power BI on their laptop. So I can just maybe like give us as an assignment, but please don't submit it to me. Don't bother to submit it. I can just give it as an assignment that everybody should just go and play around with the data set and try to put in something like just build any dashboard of your choice and just try it, but don't submit it. But just try like with data the way I just did this, just pick other things and just play around with those values and see. And also the chart, you can also click on the chart and pick different charts to just try to play around different things on this particular dashboard. So next class I'm going to, for the header, can we use text box? Yes, I use text box for the header. That's what I use to write retail ID. So who else for the header? Okay, how do we add animation to make our user friendly and interactive? So if you want to make it interactive, it's not animation that you need to add. What you need to add is slicer. So once you add slicer to it, you will be able to use slicer to interact with your entire dashboard. So that's like we use slicer to make it interactive, not animation. So when you are building it, it's just like the way we did in Excel as well. So you click on slicer, then you try to pick your slicer based on what you think that is a key determinant of your dashboard. So you can use that to interact with what is going on and connect the other visuals to that slicer. So yeah, what I will just give us as an assignment is we should just try our best to just go and play around with the data set and try to build out something. So next class I'm going to complete this, and I think by next week we are going to start Python. So we are also going to see how we can also use Python to, one thing I just noticed is that you, okay, one thing I just noticed is that you click on one information, it yes, I click on one information and it affected, but that's not like a slicer. It will just, at times it will only affect a single visuals. It's not going to affect everything, and at times it can just affect it, but it can't replace slicer. Slicer is this the work of slicer is to just connect all your dashboard together and for you to be able to interact with it. Most of the time you can just click on anything and it's going to take you there, but we can't still replace slicer with it. So it's better you use slicer to do it so that you be rest assured that this thing is going to do what exactly I want it to do. So the donut chart and the card, are they slicer? No, they are not slicer. Slicer is different and I've not used slicer here. So I'm going to be using slicer in the next class. So I'm going to finish the dashboard and also use slicer with it and try to use slicer to control the entire dashboard. But if you can do it as well, you can also make research and just try your best to do it so that when I'm saying something next class, it won't look new. So it will be like everybody has tried their own, what they can do about it. So this is where I'm going to stop. Then till Thursday, that we meet again.